Test 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3.
Make sure you mute your computer too.
Make sure you mute your computer too.
It's not. It's muted right now.
Test 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3. Any different?
Looks like it's not too much.
Test 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3. Yeah, I don't think it's test 1 2 3.
You mean in terms of quality?
Test 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3.
This is
Because it's webcam listed, yeah. But they will be able to see all this if they watch the archives. So they can watch us testing the microphone. Okay.
Do you like mic checks?
That's just how you've edited it before, right? Like you can't change it to a.
Oh, I know that.
Actually, I'm just gonna delete that.
Oh.
Huh? And we are good.
Did you actually have a link?
Mm-hmm. Okay, we are now officially live.
I wonder if people even remember that we have streams now.
That's a good question. There's one watching, and it is us. I mean, 9 people liked the post earlier, so I'm assuming. You will see.
Can't even remember how I did it before. I think I just posted.
Oh, we've got 4 people now.
Oh, that was fast.
Hello, whoever's watching. Hello. So, as you can tell, we are resuming our weekly live streams every Monday. The reason we didn't really have them was because, well, maybe it's not obvious, but oh, there's only 1 person watching now. But the reason we didn't have live streams before is because we were on a road trip.
You don't need to say that right now. Oh, okay. Because literally nobody's watching.
Yeah. I'll just say this for people who go back and watch the archives, and then I'll reiterate later once a couple more people watch. But we were on a road trip with Thomas, going from LA through the Southwest, the Deep South, and then eventually back to Columbus in Indiana. And so that's why we weren't really going live on Patreon like we usually do. That's why our channel hasn't been updated in a while. We really just haven't had time to edit things, and we also just really had very bad connections on the road trip, especially through the Southwest, or just long stretches where we didn't even have data from our phone to post updates or anything. Hello,
hey,
William. How's it going? Welcome to our abode. I'm gonna get my green tea.
Okay. It's a pretty casual Patreon stream. If you're just joining us, like Andrew said, Hey, Tim Lawson. Had a good time in where was it? Nashville, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Brittany, hey, what's up? Yeah, I think the episodes from the trip is going to be really cool, but it will be a little while before they all come out.
Yeah, and it'll be different. I really hope that, like, that's something I'm trying to figure out, is if everyone's going to still enjoy the episodes, even though it's not the usual backpacking thing, because we're doing a 3-parter of the road trip. But it's still like a lot of really, really cool nature stuff.
A lot of the stuff we saw in the Southwest was really cool.
Yeah. And just super awesome landscapes. We also canoed at one point.
We did a fair amount of camping, in a sense that we were in a tent in a campground. But a lot of the sites we saw were not specifically backpacking.
Yeah. Brittany Fracker. Yeah, so I don't know. It's been a long trip. We got back last Thursday.
Yes.
I think originally the plan was to like sleep in Indianapolis and then come back, but we were just like so ready to get home by then. Hello, Serena Davis.
Hello.
Thank you for joining our streams every time. It's really nice to have regulars.
Yeah.
I'm making tea right now, which is why my hand's bobbing up and down. I don't know. What should we talk about? Like,
I guess we can just talk about our experience on the road trip until some people have questions, or if people want to ask us questions about the road trip.
It's true.
We're thinking, our next podcast, we've got one podcast in the pipeline, but the podcast after that one will probably discuss the experience on the road trip. But for now, we can answer whatever questions you guys have.
William, I mean, any questions you guys want to ask, we can.
Yeah, it's whatever. But I just figured people might ask us questions about that. The favorite or funniest experience on the trip. Well,
I think one of the funniest moments was when we were camping out in Zion, and Thomas was cooking steaks, and we all just sort of like.
We were all tired because we had basically spent the whole day in Zion doing stuff, which we'll go into more detail, I guess, on the podcast. But it was nighttime, and we were really tired, and Andrew was trying to start the fire, in his usual way. And Thomas had bought 2 big pieces of beef to cook for us. And everyone was like just on edge, except for me. I was just like sitting there waiting for food.
Well, it's like when you're in a car for hours with somebody. By then, that was still the beginning of the trip too. But like we have these idiosyncrasies that do not mesh, but we're also like super good friends, so we can all laugh about it at the same time. So we were all just like Thomas was like berating me for not getting the fire hotter.
Robby and Thomas were waiting for you to get the fire started.
Right.
Like, it'll just take like 5 minutes. So Robby's like, okay, you've got 5 minutes.
Yeah. So he literally started a timer, and then like Thomas was stressing out about the food, and we were like, Thomas, stop stressing, and just all this stuff. But we always laugh about that stuff too.
Yeah. Although the whole thing about getting the fire started in a timely manner is something we always.
Yeah, that's road trip or not.
Andrew has no leeway on that.
Yeah. Yeah, our friendships did survive, and actually we kind of talked about that, like again in a half joking manner about how like there are moments where there's like some tension. Not really, actually. I mean, it's not even that bad. But.
Yeah, it was hard for me to really distinguish what was normal tension and what was just like something that only came about because of having been in close quarters for such a long time.
It's just like Thomas versus me. I'm like a very laid back, but also like messy and not super responsible person, or maybe not responsible is the best word, but just like not detail oriented. And then Thomas is like really organized and planned, but he can also be like really uptight sometimes. And so it's like, you can see how that would clash, but also since we've been best friends since forever, it's like, it's just something we laugh about.
Best or worst experience of the road trip, or maybe things you expected or what was surprising. I guess I would say for both of us was just how enjoyable Louisiana ended up being.
Yeah, I was going to say exactly that.
Yeah.
Louisiana ended up being my favorite part of the road trip.
I felt like once we had left the Southwest and we were kind of entering an environment that was more familiar to what we were used to, that it would start getting a little boring. But there's still a lot of cool surprises in Louisiana. Podcasts or music while on the road?
So I know Thomas listened to, well, he has a whole playlist of like neo folk music or whatever. I don't really know what the genre is, but like that sort of like new wave hipster folk music, but also old folk.
Well, I think
he's also
you might have ridden with Thomas a little bit more than
that's true. Yeah.
Well,
also
plus you were there for the 2 weeks
beforehand.
beforehand. Music was just kind of like whatever, honestly. I don't think any of us really have too much clash in musical preferences.
There's a lot of like that funk disco genre stuff. Like
we listened to a lot of Daft Punk,
Daft Punk
and
Jamiroquai here and
there.
Thomas
podcasts.
Thomas listens to Star Wars audiobooks too. And then podcasts. We listen to like IGN. Yeah, like video game stuff.
Yeah.
Also sometimes the like certain news podcasts.
Well, that was more you.
Yeah.
But like that kind of stuff would put me to sleep if I was driving.
Yeah.
Thanks. I don't even remember doing an accent on the live stream.
Yeah, I don't either.
It might have been I was just off screen like doing an accent.
Yeah, I was gonna ask how many people. I know Serena was there, but how many people here saw the?
On Robby's
live
vlog,
stream.
There was a live stream when we were on the plantation, and Robby and Andrew were in a hot tub.
It's pretty funny.
I still stand by my statement that there was literally no room in that hot tub for it.
No, there definitely wasn't.
Yeah.
That's like that's one of those moments where it's like, come on in, dear. The water's fine.
Did you get kind of stiff after sitting so much in the car? Actually, I found it to be okay. I think Robby has a much lower tolerance for that.
Robby, yeah.
So he was constantly like...
That's another example of how our personalities clash. Like, because Robby, if he starts feeling physical discomfort in the car, like if he's cooped up in a car, he has to get out and start moving around.
Yeah.
And also if he's hungry, then that's...
Yeah, Robby's hangry side really came out during the road trip.
But no, what was I going to say? Sitting in a car... So I did a drive back from Minneapolis, like back in the fall, and that like left me with some pain in various parts of my body. But for some reason this time it wasn't that bad at all. I think maybe because we were getting out enough, like every day, and being able to stretch and stuff.
Yeah, the long stretches of driving were really only towards the end, and I don't really have too much of a bad memory of it besides the typical boredom. And
wait, did you rode with Thomas during the Texas part, didn't you?
I did, but I
guess you're still sitting. But.
Yeah, but I was with Robby and towards the last leg.
The 7-hour.
Like I was with Thomas on the part going to Texas, and then leaving Texas. I was in the Nissan.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. Did you guys get? Oh no. Oh, that was a good. Yeah, the mint julep was awesome. Bathtub scene was awesome. Thank you, Tim. Yeah, man, that hot chicken was so good.
Yeah, if you guys don't know, we met up with Tim Lawson for the day in Nashville.
Yeah, we tried to meet up with as many people as we could, but sorry if we passed through your area and didn't get to.
Yeah.
A lot of this was like on short notice, and some of the plans we changed or adjusted on the way.
William McKean, with the end of the road trip, can you now say what is your favorite region of the United States?
Well,
I think
that's a good question.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think I got there when like the weather was perfect. It was like just like moderately warm.
It was like 50s, 60s.
No humidity, no bugs.
Nice breeze.
So we probably have like this we're like, oh, it was great, but I can imagine it being terrible.
Well, actually, Robby and I were on this like path near the Mississippi River, and we saw this big steamboat pull in. And an ambulance came because someone on the boat wasn't feeling well.
Yeah.
But one of the like ambulance drivers got out and was chatting with us and was like, yeah, usually it's 90 degrees and humid right now.
That's pretty much what everyone said.
Yeah.
So just imagining that. I mean, the one night we stayed at that campground, that was just, the one where
just the
where we didn't put the rain fly on the
yeah.
That the morning or that night in the morning after, I could definitely start to feel the humidity.
It wasn't cold or it wasn't hot, but it was humid.
Yeah.
Like the tents were kind of damp. In the morning.
Honestly, I liked the Southwest a lot.
Southwest
like
is really cool.
The New Mexico, Arizona area. I think it's just because it's such a different contrast of like the environment's so different that I feel like there's so much more to see there.
Although I will say I was really happy to get back to weather where it's moist because I kept getting nosebleeds. Like when we were I think it was in Vegas, I started getting a nosebleed in the shower.
Yeah.
Which is not as convenient as you might think. Because like
he came out of the bathroom and was like, "Don't be alarmed if you see blood."
Yeah.
I was like, okay. Oh, I think it was the recorded clip after the live stream failed where you did the. Oh, okay.
Kind of don't want to go to the bushcraft event on the first weekend of May because I'll be alone during it. Also, hi, I'm here but kind of half asleep. Oh, what time is it over where you are? So what next? That's a good question. Basically, I mean, in general, we have a lot of editing to do, but as far as like the next trip, that's a good question. I think Cumberland Historic Gap might be the upcoming one because we had actually we need to repost that, like bump it up.
Voting.
Yeah, we had a voting episode that you could decide on. It was between Cumberland National Historic Park, a different part of Wayne, or Land Between the Lakes. Which Wayne sounds boring in those choices, but the upside of that is you get to
There's
go
a lot
trail.
of area Wayne is actually very popular, and also there's a lot more to Wayne than what we have in our first Wayne video.
I think we should go canoeing too, because that way, no, just in general, because
I'd love to go canoeing in Manistee, but I don't know. I'd have to contact Trail and see.
Can you do that?
You should be able to, yeah.
Mostly I'm thinking of like tick season, and I want to avoid those as much as possible. So if we're in the middle of the water, I feel safe.
Brittany, neither of us have played God of War yet, and I don't think Robby has either.
Oh, yeah.
But it sounds interesting because I think they kind of deviated a lot from the original formula. Mm-hmm.
It looks really cool from what I've seen.
The graphics look good.
Oh, been dealing with teens. That'll wipe you out.
Yeah. Are you going to post 3 episodes of the road trip over 3 months or a shorter period of time? I mean, it's probably going to be. So these will be considered full episodes, so we don't want to clump them too close together. At the most or at the minimum, it'll be 1 month between them.
What I will say though is that while we're posting these, we're also going to have a lot of really good, like, more traditional hiking videos on the side. Because me and Thomas went to like Point Reyes, Tahoe, and we did some good hiking there. So it's not all just going to be car trip stuff.
Plus, there's also a lot of stuff that may not be in the actual episode, or maybe, what's the word I'm looking for when you like cliff notes something?
Summarize,
yeah. Well, something like that.
I don't know, like video.
Like for example, where we may go, places we may have eaten or stuff. Those may be very short in the actual episode, but we may expand those into like maybe like a little 5-minute video about a specific restaurant or something we did.
We'll see. Yeah, something
just to like fill in some gaps to like give you a little bit more information.
Hey,
Juan Carlos. I believe that was the one.
Yeah, we met up in the LA meetup. Yeah. Alexandra says, I'm headed out west for 2 months after graduation and a week and thinking about going to a dark sky sanctuary. Did you do one of those in New Mexico? So we didn't specifically go to a dark sky sanctuary. I think it's just a place that's like designated as a place to see stars.
That's pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, like I don't know.
Almost every place we camped at was like 1 million stars. So
yeah, I don't know if we specifically went to a dark sky sanctuary, but yeah, everywhere we had a great view.
Rebel Eye Manistee. Yeah, I'm talking about Manistee, Michigan.
If this is it flipped on his? Yeah, if this is Michigan, it's like somewhere here.
It doesn't matter because it just depends on where the thumb is. Sorry to be off topic, but Andrew, how long have you spent studying plant and tree ID?
So I think to get to my current level, it took me like 2 or so years of just maybe 3 years of like doing it as a hobby, but also I took a couple of classes where I learned more in depth about plants. But I mean, a lot of what I learned was just me going on hikes, taking pictures of plants, identifying it on the internet or through guidebooks. But yeah, actually, it's funny you mentioned that because I think I wanted to start like picking up, honing my skills, I guess, if you will, this year again.
Yeah.
And thankfully, we got back right when all the wildflowers were blooming.
I'm starting to recognize some things now that the plants are coming up. Like I was going on a walk yesterday, and I saw some chives.
Yeah.
They're very distinguishable because they're very thin, long, thin, and green.
It's funny because like before you know it, it kind of just looks like grass. But
yeah,
after you know,
you're like that looks nothing like grass.
Yeah.
Have you thought about? Oh, hey, John Bauman, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Have you thought about going to Mohican again? I think we talked about it, or I don't know if they have backpacking there. But
right, yeah.
If we do go back, it would definitely be like a little mini episode type deal.
I think there's like a state forest right next to it that might actually have backpacking. In fact, I'm pretty sure there is. Yeah. What's GOW again?
God of War.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I know of it. The Bushcraft event is actually on the. Let's see.
Okay. Yeah, I think Huron and Manistee used to be two separate forests, but then they combined them or something.
Best meal or worst meal?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Okay, let's start with worst. Because I don't think we ever discussed this with each other. And
what is the worst?
Oh, I know exactly which one it was.
What?
The most disappointing one.
Louisiana?
Well,
Louisiana Part 1.
Yeah. So I guess we can just tell them this, patrons. So when we were on the plantation, we were driving to the plantation and we were going to stay in a cottage there. So Thomas was telling us while we were driving there, oh, you guys need to tell me what you want to order.
Right.
Because we need to give them our order before we get there. And so we're like, oh, that's kind of fancy. Like we'll get there and then we'll be like sitting in the cottage and they'll like bring the food to us.
And we were all under the impression that like, they deliver it to us on these like plates all hot and stuff.
And then, so then we showed up and they took us to our cottage and we were getting settled in and we opened the fridge and we see all of our food like in containers with like instructions on heating them and stuff. Mm-hmm. And we were just like, are you serious? We have to heat up and prepare, like assemble our food. Like it was prepared, but we had to heat it up and like put it in the plate.
Which like, again, we don't mind preparing food. It's just we paid like an actual,
we paid a lot. Okay amount of money for that. And, and even Thomas didn't expect it. So we were all pretty disappointed about that. Yeah. The only good thing was the food was okay.
Yeah. Once it was heated, it was fine.
But the mint julep was really good.
Yeah. Mint julep was awesome. Yeah.
And then ironically,
the hot tub was awesome too.
Ironically, I think you and I can both agree with this, that the best meal was also in Louisiana.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah.
After we went canoeing, our guide recommended a place called the Chimes.
Yeah.
And we went there and
ordered too much.
Well, no. We didn't order too much. I would say that we ordered the right amount, but it was more food than we expected for the price.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I got like a $10 po' boy dish, and it came with like a huge.
It was like twice the size that.
It was like twice. Yeah, I expected we can't. There's no frame of reference. And here's my phone. I expected a sandwich like maybe that big, but it was literally like two of those. Yeah, and we were just shocked.
The best part of that for me was the oysters.
The
oysters. I mean, no, maybe not the best, but there was a lot of good stuff. Yeah. But the oysters were so cheap, so it was like $6.50 for a dozen, which ends up being less than $1 per oyster, and they were like this big. Like some of them were this big.
Yeah,
just like I don't
know.
The
only thing I didn't like, and I mean, I don't know if this is a thing because of raw oysters, but there was a lot of grittiness in them, and it kept.
On the shells, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
that's all part of the experience. It's like you're slurping up the ocean.
Well, if I'm slurping up the oysters, I don't want.
It's like you're
ocean grit.
You're sticking a straw in the ocean and just drinking.
Megan says, "Hey guys, I'm going to Pictured Rocks to backpack in about 2 weeks. That's awesome. Your video definitely inspired me to go. I'm glad you went there.
I'm really curious what the weather's like or what it's going to be like.
I bet it'll be really nice because that'll be basically early May.
Flowers.
Yeah. So you'll probably get some flowers and some greenery coming out, but you'll probably avoid any heat or bugs too. Mm-hmm. Let us know how it goes when you come back.
William McKean asks, so is Thomas going to be in pretty much all the full episodes now that he's back in Ohio? So I think he's definitely going to be in a lot more, but a lot of that would also depend on what his schedule is like once school starts. I mean, before that starts, I think we're going to try to get a good amount of stuff.
I don't see any reason why he wouldn't.
Right.
Because he's got nothing to do up until then.
Yeah.
Daniel Paskey, what's up? Hello. Not much.
So while we're waiting for more comments, Brian, this was while I was gone, wasn't it? Yeah. He found my Condor bush floor, which was missing in my knife video. Very happy.
Do you want to know where it was?
Wasn't it on the laundry machine?
It was in a plastic bag on the laundry machine.
I don't remember why it was in there. Like, I forget.
I don't know.
What was the last trip we even took that on? Daniel.
Sitting in the Jacksonville airport. Well,
sweet.
I'm glad that we can help you pass some time there. Where are you going to? Are you? I mean, I assume you're going somewhere and you're not waiting, or unless you're waiting for someone to pick you up.
Jacksonville's Mississippi. Where is that?
Jacksonville.
I should know this. Oh, it's Florida.
Right, Jacksonville, Florida. Although I'm sure there's a lot of Jacksonvilles, but
that's true.
Going to Fort Lauderdale. Okay.
Serena Davis asks, did you guys get to know something about each other that you didn't before? That's a good question.
I don't think I did.
Well, actually, me and Robby were specifically saying, this was in Louisiana too. We were outside, like filming coffee or something. But we were talking about how like we all know too much about each other, and like we're all really predictable to each other. And at this point, it's like we're like we need to like surprise each other. Like we were joking about if Thomas was like super laid back and told one of us to relax, or if like or if Robby was like, oh, I'm not hungry. Yeah. Or like if I was like really tidy and neat and organized. I don't know. Sup guys? Hello South. Hello John Bauman. Oh yeah, Florida. Ah, the State Parkers. Hello Andrew. Did you ever find your boots? So no, every time I tried calling Zion, it was like the wrong hours. I need to do that again. But yeah, I think I might. I mean, the boots had a hole in them anyway, so I might just have to get a new pair. And Brian, we think you may have left a shirt at our apartment.
It's possible.
Thomas,
if it's just like a generic, like black or dark gray t-shirt, it might be mine.
State Parkers, it was awesome hanging out with both of you. Also, yeah, like super. I guess
awesome. We can say that too. Yeah, when we were in Austin, Texas, we stayed with the State Parkers, and they were excellent hosts, and they took us to a great county park, and it was a great time with them. Had a lot of fun. So thank you so much, Clinton, Melody. John
Bauman says, any idea when you guys may do a meetup in Columbus? So I'm thinking
sometime soon.
Yeah, probably in May.
Well, I mean, we're still kind of like getting settled back into our routine. We don't want to see anyone.
Need some time to decompress.
we didn't want to talk to each other for like at least a few days. But once we do, we'll kind of. I think the plan is to like figure it out sometime. But here, I think we can tell you that it's going to be at High Banks most likely.
Yeah, probably.
And it will be on a weekend.
And hopefully we can do some wild plant ID. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, well, I'm sure nothing's going to stop you from doing that anyways.
We could bring snacks or something.
Yeah, we were thinking, like, if we meet up at High Banks, we could, at the very least, like, bring some snacks or something, because I think we'll probably get a decent amount of people in Columbus. But also, if you guys would be up to it, we could just go for a walk on the trails or something.
Also, sorry we had to cancel the Indianapolis one. We kind of realized that we had it scheduled at 4 p.m. on a Thursday, and no one had really responded saying they were going to show up. So we were like, well, maybe we should reschedule and do this another time and just go home early.
Wait, when was the Los Angeles one? Was that was Sunday?
That was Sunday morning. Yeah. Which we actually rescheduled that last minute, but
that was last minute. I'm surprised people showed up. Yeah. Someone actually drove. Well, he said he had other business there, but someone actually drove like 40 or 50 minutes out there.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one thing, like we keep saying this when we reflect on the road trip, but like meeting everybody along the way was one of the best parts about it.
Yeah.
There's just so many cool people.
There's a lot of philosophy talk that goes on in the road trip, so you'll see it in the videos, but it wasn't just about destinations and new places we saw, but we met a lot of cool people.
And it sounds like really cliche, but everyone was way cooler than we ever could have imagined. I'll let you answer Serena Davis while I get some hot water.
Would you go on another road trip again in the future? Oh yeah, definitely. Me and Thomas talked about hopefully doing one like somewhere along the East Coast. And then I think doing one like going up to Canada would be kind of cool.
I'm sold on the East Coast because they have oysters and
well, we have never touched New England basically.
Yeah, that's true.
So there's a lot of stuff up there that we could see.
Mm-hmm.
You guys following any Appalachian Trail through hikers this year? There's one guy who's raising $250,000 for the Trail Conservancy.
Whoa!
No, I haven't been able to follow. I guess that people are probably just starting to get on the trail so that they can beat the.
We've only been back since like Thursday, so we haven't really looked into too much. But I'm really curious about that. So if you want to,
scariest part,
let us know who that is. Scariest part.
Would you say there was a scary part?
I'm trying to think. For some reason, I feel like there was something, but I can't think of anything. Oh, maybe the only thing I can think of is like we hiked through 2 canyons that had the possibilities of flash floods. But that's not really that scary because we were fine.
Because the first one of them, Antelope Canyon, we had a guide,
right,
and there was a lot of people there. So I feel like if there's a flash flood, something. And then the alligators in the bayou weren't that scary either.
Oh yeah, actually that was like
it was concerning.
It seemed scary at first, but then
it wasn't scary.
I kind of figured it'd be like that.
Before we got on the water and before we saw the alligators, I was a little concerned. Actually, I was more concerned about like snakes, and when you said water moccasins, I was like, oh god.
Yeah. But no, scariest part was when we were with the Parkers and he was talking about tarantulas and ticks and all these snakes. I was like, oh man, I got to get back to Ohio.
Maybe the plantation at night was a little.
Oh, that would definitely be the answer for Thomas. I think.
Yeah. I think Thomas was a little nervous about that.
We might have mentioned that on. Did we mention that on something? I don't remember.
Did he wake us up at 6 a.m. every morning? No, not 6 a.m., but close enough. It was,
actually,
it was like 7 a.m., 8 a.m. most of the time. Like the beginning, like the first half of the trip, it was mostly getting up at around like 7 and leaving at 8.
What's nice is we started in California, so we had like a 3-hour head start or whatever. So like 7 a.m. would be 10 a.m. here, and as we traveled east, our sleep schedule got more and more adjusted.
I don't. Well, for me, I felt like don't make sure your cable doesn't melt or something. I actually noticed that towards the end of the trip, or like the last 4 days or so, I was really tired, like in the middle of the day, and I think it was just because we were doing so much, and I just my body wasn't able to keep up.
I also think a lot of that is like 1, the driving, and 2, the sun. Like I feel like just being out in the sun can drain you sometimes.
Well, Death Valley was definitely tough.
Yeah, Death Valley was so part of Death Valley is the fact that it was like 96 degrees outside, and then you get into a super air conditioned car.
Yeah.
I think that like takes a toll on your body. Your body's like constantly adjusting and it doesn't know what to do. Because I felt really tired during that.
I also think because of one thing about Death Valley was because we had just finished Big Sur, or we'd just done that, and like that was the first in Seneca, and my legs were still a little bit tired from it or something. I don't know.
State Parkers, this is tarantula related, but I was just recently told of a funny show called My Brother and Me. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but they have an episode of that where they're trying to rebrand tarantulas, so they call them ranchos. It's like it's a show where people ask for advice and they like do all these weird things. So like this one guy was like, I want to get a tarantula, but my girlfriend is uncomfortable having one. So they're like, we got to start calling them like ranchos and have a parade for them.
I heard tarantulas aren't really even that dangerous.
Well, if they bite you, yeah, but otherwise they're pretty chill.
Yeah. I heard Antelope Canyon can get busy. Was it still worth it? Yes, it was. Yeah. I think we all agreed it's the most photogenic place we've ever been. It was a bit shorter than I expected.
Oh, really? It was actually about the length I expected. Really? Although at first when we got in the canyon, I saw another staircase at the end of that one first part. It's like, is it just this one room? It's like, there's no way, right? But no, I thought it was a good amount.
I think it was definitely worth it because it's definitely a beautiful place. And I think, well, I don't know, if you're the kind of person who wants to go see it in person, then definitely go. But if you're the kind of person who is okay with just seeing pictures, then the pictures are pretty much exactly what it looks like.
Taking pictures there is really fun. Yeah. But I will say that it's kind of a shame because you used to be able to wander around in there. Granted, that's like more dangerous because of the flash flood danger, but I don't know. I still think it's something worth doing.
Where was the other flash flood? That was the Narrows.
Yeah. Best hike or worst hike of the trip?
Well, the worst one was Big Sur.
Yeah, I mean the hiking itself was awesome. The part where
Yeah.
we couldn't hike was a bit irritating. I still, if we weren't filming, I feel like we could have continued.
Oh, you know what was the worst part of this whole trip? Robby's tiny tent.
Yeah.
Having to use that stupid small tent was so annoying.
It's a tent designed for 1.5 people.
It's Robby's ultralight Nemo tent, but you literally can't sit up in it unless you're at your head's at the highest point. So only one person can sit up in there at a time. So it makes like changing clothes or just trying to get comfortable really annoying.
I don't think I slept in Thomas's tent until we were in Louisiana, and I didn't think about the height until that. Like the width is obvious, like that's obviously an issue, but the height, you can do a jig in Thomas's tent.
Yeah. I never felt like every time I got into the tent and I was like trying to get my sleeping bag set up or take my socks off or whatever, my head would just be pressed up against the top of his tent.
Yeah.
And I just felt like I was going to poke through his tent because there was so little room.
Brittany Fracker says, also my daughter Kiara Rain wanted me to thank you for showing her new flowers in your episodes. She is 3. Thank you. I'm happy that, wow. I always forget that 3-year-olds are that intelligent that they can no, wait, I guess I knew that. 3 years old is when I started developing a memory. But but anyway, no, I'm really happy that your daughter enjoys the flowers, and hopefully we'll be filming more things about wildflowers since it's the perfect time of year for that.
The Rebel Eye. How did I like the tent compared to the hammock? Actually, I really like my new air mat, and I didn't have any trouble sleeping regardless of where we were. And honestly, the places we camped at, having a hammock would have been impossible to set up. But I prefer my tent over Robby's just because of the reasons I just stated, because there's so little room.
How many terabytes of footage did we end up with? I think
1.5 terabytes.
At least over a terabyte, I'm pretty sure.
We had more than a terabyte.
Oh, really?
That, yeah.
Okay. Any gear casualties?
Yep.
Yeah. Yes.
So when we were at the Narrows, I think that's when it happened, right? When we were at the Narrows in Zion, Andrew and I were basically wading through thigh-high water, and there were a lot of that you had to kind of watch your step. And once we finished that and got back to the campsite, Andrew noticed that there's a big tear on the side of his boots.
Between the sole and the side of the boot.
So we had our boots drying by the fire, and I guess we forgot them in the morning.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened.
I don't know.
It's weird, but
I was honestly surprised that you said you forgot them, because
I could have sworn I grabbed them, because I grabbed the clothes right next to them. But either way, I just hope they find a good home, and they were kind of at the end of their limit anyway.
Well, yeah, I keep saying at the very least they had a hole in them, so it's not like you could have used them.
I've had those since Yosemite, which was that 2016 or 15?
15.
Was it 15?
17 was Germany. 16 was Yellowstone.
Yeah. So I've had those for almost 3 years. Is that right?
Yeah, we had said it was almost 3 years.
Yeah.
How long will this stream go for? I mean, we try to do an hour, but we'll see.
So the boots, I've had them for 2 years, 8 months, which I don't know if that sounds like a long time, but considering how much we hike, I feel like we've probably put a lot of mileage into them. Well,
yeah, because I didn't get my boots the same time as yours, so technically mine are newer than yours, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I like my boots. I like the King brand. So.
Yeah, John, R.I.P. my boots. I really like the look of them. That's they were great boots, but also I chose them because they had that nice leather look. They didn't look too modern, and they had really nice red laces. And shed a tear. I still have one of the red laces. I can at least put that in a shadow box. Jim W says, when will there be a release of Adventure Archives Bigfoot Edition? Les Stroud did that, Survivor Man.
Yeah, I heard.
I feel like
I don't know.
That would just be one of us would be in a costume.
What forest is he supposedly supposed to be in?
I think just any forest.
Well, I thought it was.
Okay,
I thought it was the Northwest.
Yeah, no, so I think.
And then the
the
Rockies.
Isn't there also one? Because there's a Grand Theft Auto game based on some city out there. San Diego's, right?
It's some city in California.
Yeah. But Les Stroud says he heard a Bigfoot-like sound in Alaska.
What's a Bigfoot-like sound?
Like a big ape hooting sound. You know.
I mean, okay.
I don't know. I feel like Les Stroud, he's into some weird superstitious type stuff. Like he doused for water on his property, but I also feel like he's legit.
Yeah, I wouldn't say yes or no to Bigfoot existing.
Yeah.
But until there's definitive proof, I'll remain skeptical.
Tim Lawson says, I enjoyed our walk around campus, and having Andrew point out several edibles was very interesting. Thank you. I always jump at the opportunity to force people to try different plants. It's like eat the sleep. Almost 3 years is pretty good time. Okay, that's good enough.
What would you do differently on your next road trip now that you guys have gone?
Far Cry 5.
Well, for me specifically, I feel like, hey, Up Trail, what's up?
Hello.
Good to see you. Now, this road trip was a special case.
Rebel Eye, have a good night. Thanks for joining us.
Yep. See ya. So this, like I said, this road trip was a special case because we were traveling so far that we had to take into consideration the amount of time. Mm-hmm. But if I were to do, like, for example, if we were to do the East Coast road trip, I would, at the very least, any really big locations, I would give us at least a whole day to go around and do stuff. And also just kind of like maybe one day just to kind of like recharge. Mm-hmm. Well, maybe it won't be necessary on like a shorter road trip, but for the one we just did, definitely towards the end, I felt like I needed at least just one day of just like recharge my batteries, you know.
I will say it would be
both literally and figuratively.
It would be really nice to do a road trip without filming. Because I feel like the filming added a extra thing on the back of your mind. Because not only are you filming, but you're also thinking about how many batteries and the next time you're actually at a hotel where you can recharge. Because we were camping a lot of it. I think another thing would be, if you had more time, it'd be fun to like stop at any sort of interesting billboard that you see on the highway. Like, you know how you always see
that was the thing. And
you see like Willis's Cheese Barn or like.
Well, yeah, so we complimented Thomas on his planning for this trip, and it was great. But we were on such a tight schedule that you kind of lose that whimsical nature of a road trip that you usually want, where it's like you see something interesting and you're like, let's go check that out, you know? Like what we did on the way back from Indiana.
Yeah.
So this is a little side story, but when we were driving back from Indianapolis, from Robby's place back to our place, every time we drive there on the road, there's this place called Warm Glow. Yeah. And it's a big building shaped like a candle. And every time me and Andrew drive by, we go like, oh, someday we're going to go check that store out just because it's so weird. I
was joking that was still technically a stop on the road trip because the road trip isn't over until we get home.
It felt like it.
Yeah.
And so on the way back, we needed to use the bathroom, and Warm Glow was like 2 miles away. So it was like, we're going there. So we checked it out. It was really interesting. Really big too.
I will say the time constraint with this trip was partly just because we were traveling so far.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And like a part of it was just like, I think any longer and we would have been really sick of each other.
Yeah.
But also, yeah. Oh, one thing I was going to say is, do you think it would have been better if we were able to fit in one car?
Oh, yeah, definitely. There were times where I thought like, man, this would be a lot more fun if we could all be in one car. Mm-hmm. Because there were times where you guys were literally just talking nonsense on the radios because there was nothing else to do.
Because on one hand, I could see the upside to like taking a break from people. Because we kept swapping around.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if we're all in the car, maybe it doesn't
matter. Did you guys rent a van or take your own car? So Thomas had to get his car back to Ohio, so he took his, and then we also rented a Nissan Rogue, which was codenamed Rogue One.
And that was just for like logistic reasons, really, because Thomas couldn't fit everything he was moving back plus all our gear.
Yeah,
in a single
possible.
Car. Yeah.
I mean, his car is a Ford Fusion,
so basically we used his car to transport all his stuff, and our car as like the car we kept opening up to get our gear and to get our cameras and stuff. Originally, we were going to take one of our own cars. Like Thomas had an idea that maybe me and him would drive out to California and then back. But Robby talked sense into us and was like, "Look, that's not going to be fun."
Wait, what?
Yeah, no. Originally, Thomas was floating the idea of like maybe when I fly back to Ohio, I can drive back to California with you in the car, so that we can have our own car instead of renting one.
That's absurd.
Yeah, it would have. It would not.
That
have
would have
worked,
been like 5,000 miles on a car.
Yeah,
that would have been ridiculous.
We were being too optimistic. Willie McKean says, "I know how you feel about the boots. I recently lost my Mora knife while hiking in the mountains near where I live. It was literally the first bushcraft knife I owned and had years of use. Yeah, that sucks. It's like more sentimental than the money. A lot more about the sentimentality."
How long did you guys not talk to each other right after the trip? It's been several days, and I haven't talked to Thomas or Robby.
Thomas called me today.
Well, to be fair, Robby was flying to Florida for some video.
Oh, that's
thing.
true.
But
I mean, we've like.
I think Thomas has started talking to you now.
We've sent like 2 messages. Yeah. Thomas called. I was like, oh no. I'm just kidding.
I've had that same feeling about warm glow my entire life. Next time I pass,
Yeah.
Oh, so
it smells like
well, it's a candle store.
Yeah.
So I was like, how much or how big can a candle store be? But it was huge.
Don't go if you're hungry. Well, actually, you could go if you're hungry because they have food there. But it's like everything there looks and smells like food, but none of it is.
I mean, it was just interesting to see. Getting back to studying for finals. Thanks for the study break. All right, see you, Alexandra.
Yeah, have a good one. Good luck on your finals. I'm sure you'll do great. Yeah.
So anything else to discuss about the road trip? So, we already said like our favorite part was Louisiana, or at least I think you said that was your favorite part.
Oh, you know what the scariest part was?
What?
It was that dingy motel we stayed in.
Oh yeah. What was that? That was after we met up with Tim Vaz.
Right. So we met up with him in. Was it Houston? Yeah, Houston. And then we that was on the west side.
Yeah, and then we had gotten a place at this little best value hotel.
We are not picky people at all.
We're not picky, and we usually don't worry too much about it. But
in fact, when we entered the room, I was really pleasantly surprised because it looked nice.
Well,
but then
the person puking in the parking lot was
that was yeah. And then you said the lobby smelled like pee or something.
The lobby smelled like a public restroom. And
I didn't go in the lobby.
Like a bad public restroom.
It was really that bad?
Yeah.
Jeez.
I walked in, I was like, what is going on? And then when we were in the room, I was getting ready to go to bed, and I pulled the blankets back, and there was like this orange, like it looked like spaghetti sauce.
Multiple stains.
Well, I saw one.
Oh.
I was like, oh God, let's just turn this thing away from me. And then we pulled the blanket and we were turning it, and we saw more stains, and we're like, nope. Not doing
so
that.
We literally got our sleeping bags out of the car and slept in our sleeping
bags
on top of the bed
because we were just like, no.
I almost feel a lot better about having my sleeping bag on dirt and soil than I would on that bed.
Yeah,
because at least that's out in nature. And there's money to be made with candles, Yeah,
I suppose so.
I've made candles before a couple times.
The next road trip be a traversal of the 19,000 mile long Pan American Highway.
I don't think so. Is that 66?
I don't know.
Wait, Pan American, like North America to South America. Oh, man, I don't know if anyone could survive that.
New Orleans is pretty awesome. Yeah, I don't think we actually went to New Orleans specifically.
Yeah, actually, that's one thing I was gonna say. Is if we had more time, it'd be cool to explore
that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. Is that we drove by it, but we didn't actually get to check all that stuff out because we just had so much planned. Like the plans were so scheduled. 2 cities that I wish we could have checked out more. And it's nobody's fault. It's just it couldn't work out. But New Orleans, Austin, Texas would have been cool. Was it a Best Western? No, it was like America's.
Yeah, it was America's
best value.
Yeah,
something like that. It was awful. Best wildlife moment.
Or did Andrew ever get beyond excited about a new plant he has never seen before? Did I get beyond excited? I'm trying to think.
Well, if Andrew sees a plant he has never seen before, it's hard for him to get excited, is the thing. Because
I get frustrated because I want to know what it is.
Like, you'll take a picture and he'll go figure it out, but he gets more excited about things he knows about.
I got to give credit to the Parkers because when we were in Texas, there were lots of wildflowers, and I learned a good amount there.
It was funny because when the very first place we camped at,
cacti too.
I saw some cacti.
Oh yeah.
Well, I saw this one that was like made of like a bunch of balls
that
had really long needles, and I don't know what it's called.
Is that a cholla or something?
I don't know, but that was the only one I ever saw on the trip. But then that night, I saw a prickly pear. I was like, oh, Andrew, look, there's a prickly pear. And he's like, so?
I was like, oh,
and then as we
cool.
drove deeper into the Southwest, there's just prickly pear everywhere.
Because I had been in California 2 weeks prior, so I've been seeing these everywhere. Yeah. I was like, yeah, prickly pear.
Best wildlife moment, though. I can't.
Alligators.
Alligators.
Yeah. Was there anything else? Well, so before you guys came out, me and Thomas saw some California quails, which were really cool. Oh, no, you know what? A good moment was for me at least, was when we saw a bird diving in the water.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was really nifty.
It was when we were in the Narrows. We were walking around. There's this little bird, and Andrew filmed it for like 5 minutes. But it would just jump out on the rocks, then it would dive underwater, and then it would pop out on a different rock. It was actually really cool. Hi, Esther. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. We made a return trip back to Red River Gorge last week.
Ooh.
How was the weather up trail? Was it good?
How are the flowers, too? I'm really curious.
Yeah. I'd like to go back to Red River.
Yeah.
Memorial Day weekend plans. I feel that weekend every campground in the U.S. will be full. Memorial Day weekend is usually my birthday. So.
Oh, yeah.
So probably that.
It usually rains.
Did you guys make to downtown Nashville? And if so, how did you like Rob?
We did.
I didn't go.
Oh, right, yeah.
Like I said, I needed to recharge, so I just stayed back and relaxed.
So I think we were all pretty tired because me, Thomas, and Robby went out, had a few drinks. I think the main thing was it was super crowded. Eventually, we found like a quieter bar that was less crowded and hung out there. If I had had more energy, I would have liked to explore it more and like see some of the bars a few blocks away from Broadway. But we were exhausted.
I wanted to know what honky tonk was, and apparently it's just bars with live music.
I will say the music was actually really good. Like one of the bars, the emptier bar we went into, the first song this band was playing, it was like country, but it had a different sound to it. It was really interesting. And like people always say I don't like country, and I don't know, the music they were playing was awesome.
Yeah. Is the guitar you purchased made by a luthier? Could you tell us how/where you found it?
You can tell that while a maker of stringed instruments. I mean, I guess so.
Well, the store was a small store in Albuquerque, and the person who owned it does make his own guitars.
Yes, it would definitely be, right? Yeah,
but it wasn't made by him.
Oh, what?
It was like someone sold it to him.
Oh, that's why they're cheaper.
Of course. The ones that he had for sale that he made were like $1,000.
That was in Old Town Albuquerque, which is a really, really cool part of the city.
But I had actually been tossing the idea around of getting a new guitar with so you guys probably don't know this, but the acoustic guitar I had up until now. Well, no, I still have it. But it's an electric acoustic, but the body is like half as thick as a typical guitar. It's not and the acoustic sound you get, while it's decent, it's not very full, and it doesn't make for really good sound when you're recording into a microphone. So the one that I got was a full body. It's not a Juggernaut, but it's got the full thickness, and it's got a really like full sound. Like I don't know how to describe it, but it's got a nice full sound. and also the fretboard feels really nice and everything like that.
I was just thinking, if we were all RPG classes, you would be the bard.
The bard.
I don't know who else. I would be like the druid or something.
You would be a druid.
Robby would be
like
normal warrior classmate. No, Robby I feel like would be like a rogue or a thief or something. I don't know why. I just get that sense. And
he'd be like stealing food.
Thomas would be a cleric.
He'd be the tactician.
The tactician, yeah.
Let's see.
Esther Sugai, hi Bryan and Andrew, great to see you back. Thank you.
It was 80 Fahrenheit.
Thank you for joining us.
80.
Whoa, that is really high.
Spring was just starting. I just released a video. Okay, cool. I'll check out the video up trail.
Came back to the UP in a snowstorm. Yeah, I heard it was raining and snowing in Ohio the whole time I was gone, which is just kind of unbelievable to me. In fact, I noticed when I got back, there's no leaves budding on the trees, and usually this time of year there are.
Yeah, so as we drove up from Texas to Louisiana and then back up to Indianapolis, we were like marveling at all the green trees on the side of the road.
Mm-hmm.
And then definitely as we got towards Nashville and above Nashville and Tennessee, you just saw way less leaves.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the time, like here, there's like nothing on the trees right now. It's crazy.
Luigi Morini says, "Hey guys, sorry we missed you at the LA meetup. Was getting over a bad cold. My son would have gotten a kick out of meeting you for. Yeah, sorry we had to make like last minute changes too. Hopefully we'll be out in LA again sometime in the near future. I feel like, I mean, there's so much stuff out there. I feel like that probably will happen at some point. But
have a good night, Tim. Again, thanks for meeting.
Yeah. Thank you so much. That was super fun.
And William McKean's question, no, I don't think any of us are left-handed.
Yeah, I don't think so. Although you and Robby play Halo left-handed.
Technically, yeah, we use Southpaw. It was 83 degrees last week in Zanesville.
Wow, really?
I thought it was cold enough the whole time.
I thought so too. Well, actually, no, I did hear at some point last week it got up to like 70s in Columbus. Yeah, Tim, also thank you for the hot chicken. That was awesome.
Oh, yeah, that chicken was really good.
Yeah.
That's another thing is towards the end of the road trip, we were just like, oh my gosh, we got to stop eating.
Yeah, Robby was like, I got to turn a new leaf.
Robby was funny because he was towards the end of it, he wouldn't even finish his meal.
Yeah.
But it was funny because in Louisiana, he was so hungry. He was eating your saltines.
Oh, yeah.
And then he couldn't even finish his po' boy because of that.
I think I ate more burgers in the last month than I have in my entire life.
How many burgers did we eat? So, well, at least for me, when we got there, we had In-N-Out. Then we had Twisties.
Twisters or whatever.
Twisters, yeah. Then we had that little place that we stopped at, the Cat Den or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
That's only 3 I can remember.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I also had a lot in like I had Fat Burger.
Yeah, you probably had more.
I think I had In-N-Out again.
In-N-Out. In-N-Out actually surprisingly good for the price and being a fast food place.
Yeah.
Because what?
No, go ahead.
Well, I mean, compared to places like McDonald's or Burger King, I felt the burgers were more substantial and also being like they gave you like nice thick pieces of lettuce and onion and tomatoes. So it tasted more like a real burger. But the best burger we actually had, Cat's Den was this little dinky place. I don't even know how you guys chose it. But
I think, Thomas just Googled. It had 4.8 stars.
But yeah, and I was really like hesitant, but I mean, it was like literally like a home grilled burger. Like if you took the meat and made the patty yourself and threw it made it yourself.
We also had burgers in Evansville.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
At that place though, I had a chuck wagon, which I never had heard of. Me and Thomas both got that because we never heard of it. But
which I guess is a Southern thing.
It'd say it's like a mix between pork and chicken tenderloin. But that diner was awesome. Like you go in and it's like this dingy place, but like lots of atmosphere, lots of character. Kind of smells like cigarette smoke, but really cheap, like really affordable.
No, it didn't smell like cigarette smoke. It was cigarette smoke.
Yeah.
Like, people were smoking inside.
But that's like what makes it so awesome. And they had super cheap food, like everything under $10 for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Even under like $8.
I think we spent less than $10 each or something.
Yeah.
Did you guys try the Impossible Burger? Is that an
I did. So I tried it at Fat Burger.
Fat Burger.
Yeah, a vegan person was telling me about that, and we got it. So it's this plant protein burger that looks and tastes.
Oh, okay. I saw a video about that.
Yeah.
Did you? But you tried it, and
so we also had a real burger.
I'm getting really hungry now.
Thomas got like a real burger to compare with. You can tell if you're eating that. To me, it almost was like crab cake-ish, but no, it was good.
I feel like more so than the taste is getting the texture.
Yeah, and it looks like meat, and the texture is close enough. What I'll say is like if you're comparing it directly to a meat burger, you can tell the difference. But like if you're ordering a veggie burger, you're usually getting it because you want a veggie burger specifically.
Yeah.
But if you order this burger, it can replace a real burger easily. Like it'll satisfy your craving for a burger.
The way I see it is, like you said, there's 2 reasons why you're going to eat a veggie burger. One, because you don't want to eat so much red meat, so you're eating a veggie burger. Or 2, you're vegetarian and you want a veggie burger, in which case you don't care that it doesn't taste exactly like meat. And if it's option 1 where you're eating too much red meat, then just don't eat it. Just like space your burgers out more so you don't need to eat a veggie burger or something.
It's worth trying, but I will say it's a lot pricier. But I mean,
what was the price?
It's like $9 or something. But it does it's really close actually. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Soon they're gonna start making like lab meat.
Oh, meat. You mean the meat grown in labs?
Yeah.
I heard about that.
So, Uptrail71 says, by the way, I lugged my tripod with me at Red River Gorge. Watching you guys at Picture Rocks gave me the idea. Awesome. I hope you still enjoyed the experience. Sometimes that's like adds to the fun. Serena Davis says, yeah, In-N-Out is pretty good, Valley. Yeah, so my opinion with burgers is I feel like I've never had a bad burger, but I've also never had a burger that like blew my mind. And I mean, like In-N-Out is really good, but I've heard people like crying with tears of joy when they find out an In-N-Out is opening in their town, and I just cannot relate. But then again, I think everything tastes good. So,
well, I mean, I think In-N-Out is more so just a combination of the value and the fact that it's not like a really crappy burger, you know.
But I feel like there's good places everywhere, like Five Guys.
Five Guys is okay. Well, Five Guys is good, but
are they more expensive or?
I don't know. I haven't been there in a while, but I don't know. In-N-Out just felt like the right amount too, you know?
Yeah.
Like remember that place we went to in New York?
Shake Shack.
Shake Shack. That was super overpriced for a very normal burger.
That place seems overrated to me.
Yeah. Any new pieces of gear for the road trip?
For the road trip?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so. In fact, some of our gear we didn't even bring because Thomas had stuff and he wanted to minimize as much as possible. Like I didn't bring my rain jacket or anything.
Well, I was just thinking about all the
clothing chart.
No, the plates.
Oh,
after the steak. Did we film any of that?
I hope so.
Well,
we definitely filmed us talking like during dinner.
Yeah, so we talked about how Thomas cooked some meat up at Zion,
which was delicious. It was awesome.
Delicious.
Yeah,
but it was so funny because after we finished eating, we were sitting there and the plates were on the table and we were all just chatting. And Thomas, I feel like, he could not stop thinking about needing to wash the plates. And Robby eventually was like, Thomas, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take these plates, we're gonna stack them, and we're gonna put them in this bag, and then we're gonna put it in the car. And I swear I will help you clean these tomorrow. Just don't mention the plates again.
Didn't Thomas end up washing them himself?
I don't know. I didn't wake up in time. It was just so funny.
Yeah, those were good times. We had some good laughs.
So how long would you say it took you guys to get to the waterfalls at Red River Gorge?
Waterfall swimming hole. When was that? Thinking about doing.
Are you talking about? Wait, Red River Gorge?
I cannot remember. Oh, New River Gorge is what you're thinking, right? New River Gorge.
I'm thinking either New River Gorge, because at Red River Gorge there was a jumping rock that we didn't go to.
Wait, there was?
Remember we were driving, we wanted to go to the jumping rock, but we decided not to?
That was Smokies, I think.
Was that Smokies? Oh, maybe it was.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was definitely Smokies because we were definitely.
That was the jumping rock was actually along Robby's trail.
Okay, yeah, she said New River Gorge. It's not. It didn't take long at all.
Yeah,
if we hadn't been filming, we would have easily gotten there really fast.
Yeah, I think that's probably where a lot of day hikers start turning around. Actually.
Yeah, I mean, we actually set up camp and then we walked to it, and it was like,
wait, what?
Remember we set up camp, right? And then we took just the water packs.
No, that's a different area along the river.
What?
That was a different part. The first one, there was a big waterfall. We hiked off the trail, like jumped in, swam.
Oh,
around.
that one.
The other one
not
was
the
just
waterfall itself.
Like you're thinking that
there was
one.
two parts.
Yeah,
there was parts where you guys actually swam, and then there was the one where you stood under the waterfall.
She means the first one. That one was
well, either one. The first one was super close.
Yeah.
The second one
a little
was further, but it was still easily done within like a couple hours.
If you go to the episode and you go to day 3, it'll say how many miles we've hiked, and that'll basically give you an idea of how much you have to hike.
Did you find that you packed the right amount? Too little or too much for the trip? I could have used more shirts, but I actually bought a shirt on while we were there.
For the cold, you mean?
No, just because.
Oh, the sun.
For some reason, I packed with the assumption that it would be colder.
Oh, okay.
So I had undershirts, and I was gonna wear something over it,
but nothing that was like in between.
Yeah, but I didn't just have regular I had like maybe 3 shirts that were just I could just wear them by themselves. So 2 actually, and then I bought one.
I think I packed the right amount. I feel like the stuff I brought ended up being more or less what I needed.
It was a medium weight trip.
Should have packed an extra pair of boots. Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, no worries, Brittany.
Did you do laundry on the road at laundromats, or did you wash your clothes by hand? So
we actually went by a few gas stations that had laundry, but we always did it.
what was the first one?
First one might have been the Parkers, actually.
Was it?
Yeah, I think so.
Right, because we washed up everything we had at Thomas's place. We didn't do anything in Vegas, obviously.
And then there was 3 nights camping in Southwest.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was actually like 4 or 5. Wait,
so we did laundry once?
It was on the 5th night that we did laundry. No, I thought we did it another time.
Oh, at Chloe's place.
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So I guess we only did laundry twice. That's amazing. I mean, basically, I would wear like the same thing for multiple days.
Well, okay, so the first half of the trip going through Death Valley in the Southwest, it was a lot worse because there was a lot of dust. We were doing a lot more hiking in hot weather, so we were getting sweaty. But towards the latter half of it, we weren't doing as much. Like we're doing more driving, so we didn't need to worry about our clothes as much, like being dirty or anything.
Our pants did get really wet for Zion.
That's true, but that was before.
Yeah,
did it the first time. Does Robby plan on taking his drone on any upcoming hikes or episodes? It's just a matter of whether or not it's allowed. A lot of places it's not.
You will see some drone use in this.
Yeah, we actually got to use the drone on our canoeing, the canoeing part in the bayou.
And also some of the actual driving a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. Was any point on the road trip the furthest south you had ever been? Yeah.
In the U.S. at least. Wait, have I? Yeah, in the U.S. Well, I guess it
depends. If
you count like Florida and Puerto Rico, I've been further south. Right?
Yeah, I don't know Orlando compared to some places in Texas.
Yeah, sometimes it surprises you where things are, but I mean, I will say I've never. Well, I guess we have been to the Southwest as kids, but I do think some of it was like the further south we've gone, besides like a few key areas. I mean, if we're talking like globally, we've probably been further south, right?
Well,
you've been to Taiwan. That's like near the equator.
That's true. Closer. Yeah, I guess he didn't really specify in North America.
Uptrail 71 says, from an earlier question, many do kayak down the Manistee River. A YouTube friend keeps trying to get me go with him kayaking. You know, it's so funny. Like, I need to try kayaking again, but for some reason, I just feel like I prefer canoeing so much.
Kayaking is great too, but I think canoeing's better if you're packing stuff along.
That's true. You have more space to.
But oh my god, after the experience we had in the bayou with Thomas canoeing, and Thomas, if you're watching this or if you ever watch this, man, you need to practice your paddling.
To be fair, he hasn't had many chances to go. Like,
to be fair, yes, but
just throwing Thomas under the bus. Like,
the best time to practice is not when you have to worry about alligators.
Well, I will say, like, me and Thomas were in the boat on the first part, and he was asking why I wanted the back of the canoe. And like, part of it was just I really enjoy paddling, but also part of it was I was really worried about the alligators initially. Yeah. And I didn't want to like have us drift into one.
I definitely got a lot of practice paddling when we were at Algonquin, so I felt very comfortable with it. Also, I don't think I enjoy sitting at the front of the canoe at all. I hate that.
Yeah. So that's, yeah.
My husband asks, what is the best meal you have eaten or invented while hiking? Well, the best meal eaten, it's tough to say.
The steaks Thomas cooked were pretty good, if that counts as while hiking. But
the hobo meals were good.
Oh, yeah.
I really enjoyed the shish kebabs.
I like the calzones. Actually, I like the noodles in Yellowstone, too.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. The noodles in Yellowstone were good, too. It's just hard to say because it's a matter of how hungry you are.
I want to retry steamed buns. I feel like if we are out in warmer weather, we can get it going. Oh,
I think you should just make the dough beforehand so that it can rest the whole time.
Damn it. That's not how we do it. That's not how I do it.
But it needs to rest. Or you can like make it the night before.
No, actually, that's not a bad idea. No, well, I think the reason it didn't work was because it's cold in Picture Rocks. Like if we're out in the summer,
that's true.
I think it'll...
Kind of a side note, Brian, I stumbled on your music video, Memories of
Summer. Oh, yeah,
fantastic,
that's a classic.
Very relaxing. Love the rain shots at the window. Yeah, it just happened to rain while we were filming that. So
We should do more music videos, although it's all
was
MIDI.
feeling
So
melancholy. Well, thank you so much. I really like that song too, actually. But
melancholy and nostalgic might be the best compliments.
yeah, because I mean that's kind of basically what it's supposed to be like. Because Memories of Summer is supposed to be like the memories of good times we had in the past. Anyways, I keep telling these guys that they need to learn like guitar or something so that we can play things together. Robby, I think, was bouncing the idea around because he was asking me questions about how hard was it to like take care of a guitar. I'm like, it's easy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, there's literally nothing except you tune it and you clean it every so often, and then you change the strings, and none of that's really hard.
JC Ortega says, speaking of t-shirts, hopefully you guys can print on moisture wicking fabric. That's a good idea. Yeah. I think if we did do t-shirts, I'd want it one.
Yeah. I think we'd start with regular t-shirts first, though.
Well, yeah.
Because moisture wicking, I mean, it's probably going to be a bit more expensive, right?
I want them to be union made, and I want them to be a fabric that's either natural or like practical for outdoors. I don't know. Like wool.
It's all about the price, because I don't want to. I mean,
yeah,
like,
no,
I know people out there probably would and wouldn't mind paying like whatever price for like a higher end t-shirt, and we'd love to provide that for you. But if we're only going to sell like 20 of them, then
the one possibility we're looking at is a local company, and the nice thing about that is we might be able to order as people order. Like we wouldn't have to order bulk, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, we need to look into that.
That might be something that t-shirts might be something that happens soon, because now that Thomas is back, because we're gonna all look with Andrew about that.
Oh, I did mean globally in terms of latitude. Okay. In that case, it wasn't the furthest south we've been, actually.
I'm trying to think now.
Where is Taiwan? Here, let's look at.
I don't think I've ever been south of the equator, though. Yeah, I mean, I definitely haven't. So.
Taiwan is 23 north.
What about Japan?
Japan's definitely north of that, I think.
I just can't.
Oh, Puerto Rico's 18. Japan is 36. Okay. So Japan's almost close to Ohio. Oh wait, so what is like
Albuquerque? No, it'd be more Texas, right?
Yeah. So Albuquerque is 35. Austin, Texas is 30.
Yeah. So Taiwan for me.
Mm-hmm. I think Puerto Rico for me.
Clouds with baking soda.
Oh, to make it rise, yeah. Well, actually, so Serena, they sell little packs of yeast, and I think I might just bring that next time. In fact, I did bring that last time. It just, I've made steamed buns a bunch recently, so now I think I know what I need to do. Like, I need to mix the yeast in warm water, so we'll have to heat some water up, add a little bit of sugar.
Jeremy, the reason it's called Smoky Mountain Documentary is because Robby thinks that the word documentary will attract more searches. I don't know how 100% how true that is. And like the changes in the results technically are a little higher, but
we're basically experimenting.
Yeah, we're just experimenting with it. I mean, there's really no yes or no on whether or not it makes a huge difference or not.
Yeah.
Any lessons learned from the road trip you can share? If you plan a road trip, make sure it's with people you definitely are comfortable with and stuff like that.
Like be able to laugh about the things that you get angry about, or like not angry but irked, you know, like be able to laugh at your mistakes, like be able to have self-awareness about your flaws and be able to laugh at everybody's flaws and stuff, you know. Also, I think, I don't know, like pack light. That's my advice for anyone who's traveling ever. But
well, we were in a circumstance where we had no choice on how much we packed.
Oh, well, maybe not pack light, but stay organized. That's like make sure you sort all your gear in the car in a specific way so you know where things are.
Yeah, actually, that's
super useful.
Once we organized it better, it was much easier.
Yeah. Because we originally had like our camping packs all in the trunk, and then some other gear. But then we decided to rearrange it so like each door was like you were in the trunk, Robby was on the left door, I was on the right door.
Or at least my stuff was accessible from the trunk. Robby's was accessible from the left door, and yours was from the right door. So at the very least, we'd be like, okay, if I want something with mine, I just open this door.
It worked. It was a really good system.
Yeah.
Ukulele with guitar, that'd be cool. And also smaller. That'd be, you could actually take that backpacking.
Yeah. Have you ever had to take any sort of medicine to go to sleep on one of your trips? No, I can't say that we have. When you go tent camping, I can never fall asleep. Well, is it because of the comfort or something else? Because for me, when I had more trouble falling asleep camping, it was because I wasn't comfortable because my air mat wasn't good. And like it would make my back kind of arch too much and it would be uncomfortable. But this one that I have now is, it's wider, first of all. So it gives me a little more, like I don't feel cramped up on it. And then also I can lie sideways on it really comfortably. Also the sleeping bag helps too, because I don't know why, but.
It's funny because it reminds me of when we were in the Southwest and the tents were shaking in the wind. Up Trail 71 asked if I will ever give hammock a try. I think definitely. I just hadn't really gotten around to it because I didn't want to spend more money on gear. But I think one thing that will definitely convince me is like the prospect of sleeping out in a forest in the middle of summer, like a Midwest forest. Because I don't know, it can be like a jungle sometimes in these forests. So I'm thinking like a hammock would actually be really nice to get off the ground and to be away from all the mosquitoes and stuff. That might be what does it. I mean, I have nothing against hammocks, and they're super comfortable.
Bangladesh was 23 degrees north.
Oh, was someone asking that? Or?
Our mom.
Oh. Bangladesh, yeah. Wait, so Puerto Rico's still south, I think.
Puerto Rico's still the lowest. That was like 18. Or Taiwan was like
let me
18.
let me look up the specific cities. I'm really curious now. So San Juan.
Well, let me look at a question so I can answer that while you do this. Went to the Smokies this weekend. Did some of Brian's route from the Smokies episode.
Oh, that's cool.
That's sweet. Actually, the route that I did was a lot less maintained. I feel like.
Oh yeah.
Compared to like what Robby did.
That was a good episode.
But it was an easy route. Anxiety. Oh, anxiety. Yeah, I can't say that I've had trouble sleeping because of anxiety. I mean, there's been times where I've had bad dreams because of like noises. Like I think I've told this story before, but when we were in, what was it, Tea Creek, I was sleeping in a hammock and I was actually kind of away from the other guys, and the whole night the wind was blowing, and so the whole night I kept dreaming about like wolves and stuff, and then even in one dream I dreamt that a wolf was trying to bite me right through my hammock, so I actually woke up and screamed, and you guys were like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine."
Brittany, I will say, like sometimes when I'm camping, I do like when you have your thoughts and like that's all you have to think about at night. I definitely can get a lot of thoughts going in my head.
If you're solo, yeah, I could see that.
Especially if you're solo, it's like definitely heightened.
Yeah.
I think what I would say is, I don't know, like if you get to a campsite early and you can look at everything around you and you've had a good day of hiking, being tired can help a lot. I mean, I don't know. It's different because it's not like a clinical anxiety. But I mean, I don't see any problem with like bringing some sort of medication if you need to.
I mean, sometimes like I'll listen to music on my phone as I fall asleep. I also sometimes, I don't know if you or anybody else has ever noticed this, but sometimes if like we're in the car or on the plane, I will literally fall asleep with my earbuds in my ear, plugged into nothing.
Oh, like
just because it muffles the sound a little bit, sort of like earplugs. But yeah, sometimes like having some relaxing music or something or can like help you fall asleep.
I've heard CBD oil can also help with that. Any resolutions yet for what you guys are doing for your big trip this year? Nothing solid yet. I think Iceland is definitely up there as a possibility just because it's such a popular place. It's fairly cheap and it's so cool. Where else? I think Banff got mentioned at one point, but I don't know.
Well, I think Banff could happen even if we do Iceland, just because it's in Canada. It's not like it's difficult.
Yeah. Oh, I want to specifically mention a place in Iceland that someone recommended. But yeah, you can keep.
Geez, notifications much.
So Iceland, yeah, Banff. I think Robby or
Banff, I'd really like to go to.
I think Thomas knows somebody. Might be his uncle who was going to go there. But Thorsmork, Iceland. Let me show you these pictures, Brian. Thorsmork is a place someone recommended to me in Iceland. It's got like these rivers and these big mountains, and so you actually have to take these vehicles with these huge wheels in, I think. But no, it just looks like so awesome, and like it looks like prehistoric, you know.
Yeah. I'd also like to do Sweden, but I don't think that's going to happen this year.
Yeah.
But Sweden always interests me just because of the law that says you can camp anywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
For the most part. Thank you, Uptrail, for the congrats. Yep, we hit 50,000 subs while we were on this road trip. So thank you to everyone here.
Yeah. Thank you for telling all your grandparents and relatives to make YouTube accounts and subscribe. Jeremy Cox says this. Oh wait, Serena says there are good quality plastic ukuleles you can take anywhere. Yeah, that's a good idea. Jeremy Cox says this is probably already been asked. I just joined a few minutes ago. Do you guys have a release time in mind for Seneca Rocks? So early release is probably going to be
May.
Yeah, first couple weeks of May.
Yeah, because I mean it's not going to happen.
We wanted it to get it out in April, but it just
there was so much stuff happening. Very, very unlikely that was going to happen in April, just because Andrew was gone and we had the road trip. So I would expect Seneca to be in May, and then the next 3 episodes, assuming we have 3 episodes for the road trip, will the next 3 months.
The irony is I was worried about like releasing it in April because I was like, oh man, like winter's gone. It's a really wintry trip, but we still got snow up here.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's fun to watch like a different season anyway.
Seneca Rocks was one of those trips where I think back on it and I really enjoyed it. But when I think about what happened on the actual trip, I'm like, man, it's
like type 2 fun.
Sucked, yeah.
Or whatever.
Because I remember this just the first day we were hiking through the dark uphill. And
yeah.
It was cold. I was cold. I mean, I guess we can talk about it in more detail when the episode comes out, but the first night was pretty sucky for me.
Yeah. Brittany, no problem. I hope something works for you. Yeah, probably not all at once. That might make things worse.
Although we did do some cool stuff with the tent on Seneca Rocks that I believe helped.
Oh, yeah.
So you'll see that in the episode.
Serena Davis says, is the China trip looking like something you guys will do this year? It's looking less likely we're going to.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen.
I think Robbie's dad might be heading there in May, but we're probably not. And also, they're not going to the wild area anymore. One of our distant relatives has a wedding on May 1st. So.
William McKean says he lives in Calgary, so he hikes Banff all the time. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, we'll have to hit you up if we go there.
Random camping opportunities in the surrounding.
Oh, that's good to know. That's really good to know because I love finding the lesser known places. We'd probably end up doing Banff anyway because the name recognition. But
well, yeah, but I've always wanted to go back to Banff too.
Yeah,
we've been there once with our family.
I wonder if we could cram 2 trips in one go.
What do you mean? 2 international trips?
No, like two trips in that area. Banff? 2 episodes, yeah.
Oh, I mean,
we could definitely do side videos at least.
Congrats on the 50K subs. Thank you, Serena. Thank you for sharing our episodes too. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. That actually helps a lot. Like,
I share them on my social media too, but I think half the people I'm friends with are already subscribers.
I'm always surprised when I find out that my friends actually watch the show. Oh, did I tell you that someone recognized me at High Banks the other day?
No, I heard though that you were supposed to tell me.
Oh yeah.
When you say you want to return to Banff, do you mean the whole park or the town of Banff specifically? See, I don't know because when we went there,
we went as kids, right?
Yeah, well, we weren't kids, but when we went there, it was with family, so like we didn't really know much about it. Like we went there, and all I know was Banff. And we took a.
Was that where we took the huge vehicle with the big wheels? Because I remember like taking a vehicle to a glacier.
No, that was Alaska, wasn't it?
Alaska? No, we never did anything like that in Alaska. No, I think it was Banff. Like we took a vehicle with big wheels.
There was some trip that might have been Banff where we took. Yeah, it was basically you take a vehicle with like takes you up to a glacier.
And we drank like the water.
You could drink the water from the spring.
And I remember wearing like a t-shirt. It's really cool.
I remember wearing a t-shirt.
No, because it's like all snowy, but it still felt warm. That's what was.
I remember wearing pants.
Pants I'm fuzzier on. Also, while you guys were gone, there was a new park opened up in Hocking Hills. Oh, the John Glenn. Oh, I did hear about that. Yeah.
That sounds cool.
That's really cool.
Linville Gorge and NC would make a good trip, but it's challenging.
North Carolina, I've heard really good things about, and I think we've been once, like a while back, a long time ago.
Yeah,
I remember waterfalls.
Yeah. Okay, so the stream's been going for about an hour and 25 minutes, so we'll go for another 5 minutes.
Okay,
and then we'll finish it up then. So
there's also a new state park being opened up around the wilds. Interesting. I heard they were trying to do something there. I can't remember what now. Maybe that is what I heard, but
the state park is the biggest one.
The wilds? Okay. That's good to know. I hope it's a place where you can go backpacking because, I mean, can you imagine if they had a trail in the wilds where you could like backpack and see giraffes and stuff? That would be really cool. I don't know. I still haven't been to the wilds. Actually, so when I was in Albuquerque, we saw the candy lady who made the meth for Breaking Bad the first couple seasons. And she actually, she's actually visiting Columbus soon, but she was talking about how she loves like the wilds and the Amish stuff. And I've actually never done any of that.
Good night, Up Trail.
Yeah, good night. Thank you for joining us.
But yeah, that was funny because when we got to Albuquerque and we met James Blackburn there, who's an awesome guy. And he was showing us around Old Town, and we were commenting on how much it was like Jackson Hole in Colorado.
Oh yeah.
But what was funny was when we were in Jackson Hole, Colorado. Wyoming. Yeah, sorry. When we were in Jackson Hole, we were walking around in the back alleys at night, and we found this little candy shop.
Oh yeah.
And there was this really sweet old lady who was talking with us, and we were like sampling all of her different candies that she makes herself. And then it was like the exact same situation.
Yeah.
We ended up, he took us to this candy place, and there was just this lady who had a little candy shop, and she makes all of her candy, and she was just telling us all this cool stuff.
So this is, I think Robby has the meth, and when I say meth, I'm talking about the rock candy that they used in Breaking Bad.
Yeah, it's not real meth. The blue rock candy.
But this is some green chili flavored rock candy. And the significance is that the town Hatch, where they have Hatch green chilies, is nearby. But have you tried one of these yet? I'm really curious what your reaction would be.
Okay. Do you want to try one right now?
Feel free to spit it out if you don't like it. But... Okay, so... Linville, yeah, what do you think?
It tastes like I'm eating a curry flavored candy.
To me, it's like those hot chili jams, you know?
I haven't had those. No, this feels like I've got a block of curry in my mouth.
I could still see the curry, yeah. Okay, so
you think you guys would do an episode where you hike with your moms? Nope.
Well, I don't think our mom, Robby's mom, maybe. I don't think our mom would want to do it.
I don't think Robby's mom would do it either, honestly.
Oh, really?
Well, just because, I mean, even Thomas had trouble dealing with the fact that we film when we hike. So I don't think either of our moms would have any patience for that.
I didn't think about that. If we did a video where we hiked with our moms, it probably wouldn't be a full episode. But what I will say is I bet we could make them comfortable enough. Like get a nice big air mat.
No, well, I don't know, because she's been pretty adamant about not being outdoorsy.
If we go like, I think spring or fall would have to be the time. No, but yeah, I think that would be, I think my mom has zero desire to do that.
Yeah. Jesse Owens State Park and Wildlife Area will be the biggest in Ohio history. Oh, cool.
That's awesome.
Guess we'll have to check that out.
Jesse Owens is the famous Olympian that
from Ohio.
Yeah, from OSU, or is it just Ohio?
I don't know if it was OSU.
I think didn't he compete when Hitler was in power or something?
Maybe. Okay, this thing is like
it's spicy.
It's not spicy, but it's just it tingles your throat a little bit.
Yeah. You might have to try glamping. Yeah. Actually, no. I will say the whitewater.
Oh well. I was gonna say, I think our mom did mention that she would like to do like a big tent, but so it would basically be sort of like car glamping.
That actually, yeah, no, I bet we could do that. But when my mom saw the Whitewater episode, she said the campsite looked really nice there. I think that's something she could get behind. I'm really curious what Robby's mom would like be interested in doing. I don't know.
If it wasn't filmed, I think it'd be fine.
Robby could just vlog it, yeah, or like film it in vlog style, but put together a side video.
Yeah. Okay. Any last minute questions? Otherwise, we're gonna finish up the stream.
I'm gonna finish chewing these hot chili rock candies.
Yeah. And also, we'll have our weekly Wednesday update, where we'll kind of we'll explain how we envision the next few weeks, I guess, for releases and stuff.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I'll probably also talk about the last part of the road trip.
Yeah. Also, if you want a little more insight onto some of the road trip, you can check out Robby's vlog. I think he just uploaded the first.
Oh yeah. John Bauman, thank you. William McKean, who's streaming next week? That is a good question.
Good question. It's either Thomas or Robby.
Yeah.
We'll figure that out at some point.
Yeah. Thank you, Serena, for joining us. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for joining us. And
things are back on schedule, so you can expect a weekly update on Wednesday and a stream on Monday. So
yeah, and we should have a video for release next Monday too.
Yeah. Yep.
Probably a podcast because we've already got one ready to go.
We might have Fast Guys Rocks ready too.
We have a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff in the pipeline. William McKean, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. For real, thank you so much. I'm like eating rock candy, so I feel like I'm like one of those kids chewing gum in class. But for real, thank you. Do another Instagram live session on the podcast is what oh, okay. Actually, you were floating the idea of doing the whole podcast live.
Yeah. So
maybe we should do that, like make it live for patrons. That'd be spicy.
That'd be cool. Well, we've been tossing around ideas. So we are trying to do a monthly public live stream on YouTube. And we thought just sitting there and answering questions is eventually all the questions are going to get asked and answered. So maybe we could do like a live podcast where we do a podcast and then also answer some questions in the meantime. Maybe
like every other month we can live stream the podcast publicly, and then in between we can live stream the podcast for patrons and do a different fun live stream for the public. I don't know. I kind of like the idea of like doing it live for patrons.
Well, we've got a lot of cool ideas. Like, for example, and you guys can tell us if you think this is a good idea, but maybe sometimes instead of doing a live stream like this where we answer questions, we may be editing the video and we'll just be live streaming where we can answer questions, but you can also like just
like a hangout.
Hang out. Yeah, you can hang out with us, keep us company.
Someone making music in the background or like preparing or yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you everybody so much for joining us. Thank you for all your support as always. Like seriously, thank you so much. We're really glad to be home and hopefully we get some good videos for you soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. See you guys.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.